they're into the school systems in several different places, and if they just need a letter of our support, I can't see any reason not to do that.
No, and I can't either. We, Commissioner Sukla and I believe it was early or last spring sometime, we were able to view the school to farm projects throughout our area here. We went to Dolores, a couple of the elementary schools here, and it's actually a pretty neat project, what they're trying to teach those kids, and just about farming and the water and the resources behind it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing.
You good with this, Commissioner Sukla?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I would like to move that the Board of Montezuma County Commissioners send a letter of support to the Colorado Water Conservation Board in support of Montezuma School to Farm project.
Second, there's a motion and a second to approve a letter being sent to the Colorado Water Conservation Board in support of the Montezuma School to Farm project. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And at the end of the other presentations this morning, I will give an update on behalf of the Extension Office. Greg Felsen can't be here today. He's out of town, but I will do that after we get through the other departments.
Okay.
Okay. That's all you have. We have planning next.
Morning, Don and Jane.
Morning, guys.
Good. How are you? Good.
So this morning we've got presentation of Resolution 21-2020 for abandoning a section of County Road G. This was moved and approved back in November of 1998, but was never memorialized in a resolution or recorded at the clerk's office.
Wow.
In that resolution, there was a legal description of the vacated County Road G right-of-way. Since then, in the surveying work done by the surveyor for Love's truck stops, they found a 5.3-foot bust between the two properties. So our county surveyor, Ernie Manus, he went through and he did an attachment to this resolution that combines all that property, so the easement is now attached to the northern parcel that is currently owned by Jovian.
Mm-hmm.
So in doing so, they won't have two separate deeds. They'll have one piece of property conveyed to them, and won't have to consolidate a deed later on upon purchase by Lowe's.
So was that, did you have a picture of that also, of what that?
Yeah, it's an attachment at the end of the resolution.
Should have been cleaned up back when they did that revision down there on the intersections and all that stuff, wasn't that down here?
Yeah, Wilson Engineering did
Yeah.
the survey work in 97 and 98 for CDOT.
Yeah.
And Ernie used their survey data in creating his documentation here, so that it's all tied together from when it was done originally and voted on and approved.
Yeah.
But this cleans that up, and
Gives
should
Lowe's clear
everything.
ownership and puts the easement where it's supposed to be and
Right.
all that on G Road. Yeah.
I think they already had that. We're just trying to make them comfortable as far as
Well-
handling it more legally than it was done back in 1998.
Well, and obviously the county didn't provide any kind of resolution that was recorded and stuff, so I can understand their hesitancy on saying, "Oh, really?"
But this
It was
already,
a- right.
this is how it already exists.
It already
on
is,
the
right.
ground.
This is just codifying it and putting it in legal form, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then I would like to make a motion that the Board of Montezuma County Commissioners approve a resolution of right-of-way vacation on County Road G located at 7006 Highway 16491, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of .35 acres, more or less.
Second, There's a motion and a second to approve the resolution of right-of-way vacation on County Road G located at 7006 Highway 160, 491, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of .35 acres more or less. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's actually .38 acres now versus .35 acres. Is that close enough, John?
What does it say in the resolution? It says .38?
.38 is on the attached, paperwork by the county surveyor.
Let me amend that motion to stating, instead of .35 acres, the correct amount is .38 acres in that resolution.
Thank you.
Okay.
You guys have it for signatures down there?
And then we have a Mylar that you have already approved.
Okay. Do you have signatures on this vacation resolution as well?
Yes.
Okay.
If you need to see the legal for that, this is the legal, this is for the resolution.
Okay.
And then you have this.
That's already been signed, right? You signed another
You signed on there.
Yeah.
This has a whole bunch of signatures on it.
Yeah, it's got it.
Yeah, this one does have every.
Got them all over the place, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you need to see this, this is the legal for the resolution.
Yeah, this one does. Last used up all in.
That's a brand new one.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it.
I'll give you very much room today. You can have the Mylar. And I'll give it to you.
I'm certainly tickled to see Love's interested in that place down
Oh,
there.
yeah, that'll be a vast
That
improvement.
will be, and they're big enough, strong enough, they'll be able to make that work. It won't be
Yeah.
one of these guys in there on a hope and a prayer.
Yeah, they're not just gonna try and scrape
Well,
by
you
there.
take that and that dollar store on the other corner, you're starting to see a little bit of, some nice development start down there. And
Yeah.
man, I'm
That and a
tickled.
big fire to the west, we'll be all cleaned up.
Don't say that too loudly.
But I didn't say that.
But I think we concur, yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a possibility with Love's moving in there that they'll also bring in some other businesses in conjunction with that operation.
Sure, sure, yeah.
It might help out 2 or 3 properties down there.
It may just help a whole bunch of properties there, huh?
Mhm.
Well, that's great news, great news,
Fantastic news.
yeah. Yeah.
Very, very
Assure
good.
them that Montezuma County's mighty happy to hear that they're coming.
We're doing everything we can to
I'll
babysit.
bet you, good on you, man, good on you.
We've been holding your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just lead them right along, good.
it's a
What
big
else do you
movement.
guys have?
That's all we got for
That's
now.
it?
Very good.
Okay.
Don, I might bug you guys later today. I met with an attorney at the State Attorney General's office regarding the restrictions that are going on the former part of the landfill that was, I guess it's referred to as the Carver's landfill.
Oh, okay, right.
And notices that we need to send out. So I'll get with you later today about what we need to do.
Oh, okay, something on the formal closure of that?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
We'll do
Good.
it.
Be nice to get that done, turn that into a compost platform out there and start making compost like there's no tomorrow.
Which is our final goal, for
Oh,
sure.
gosh, yeah, yeah, I think
No doubt.
the landfill's ready to take that on, turn that into compost heaven down there.
This
Yeah.
shouldn't hold it up. This is just
Yeah.
something that goes on the deed if the landfill's ever sold and
I
somebody
gotcha.
else owns
Yeah.
it to know what was there. So this won't hold that up at all.
Good.
Good.
Okay,
All right.
good deal. All right,
Thanks,
thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, next we have a public comment session. Is there anybody out there that would like to comment? Come on up. Give us your name and address and,
Turn that mic on too, would you, Ken? Thank you.
Name, address
Mhm.
is enough. Ken Curtis, 21962 Road P, Cortez. Today, I just really wanted to address primarily Commissioners Ertel and Sukla. I've had the opportunity to work with you guys for about 8 years, and I just wanted to show up and say how much I've appreciated that. You've always been accessible, willing to talk to me, mostly professionally. And although we haven't always agreed, I think it's worked for the best for all parties, and I appreciate your leadership in this county. Wanted to point out a few things I've watched over the years, both as a resident and working professionally with you. You guys haven't been afraid to question the status quo. Things like the improvements over at the landfill have been great. I've appreciated your fiscal conservatism, budgeting, and yet not afraid to pursue economic opportunities or force other things needed in this county. I really looked Phil's World, one of the expansions, how you've worked with federal agencies that are all around us in this county, and you've really pushed them to where they need to go and tried to hold them accountable, and yet work with them. So I think that's really been working with all of us, and I appreciate that. You've really done great with some good people. I don't get to work with all your county staff. Rob Englehart, been great to work with ever since you brought him on. Your road work, your road system is going great. You've really set us on a good course. Shaq's been great help and great addition, and just everything he started down at the landfill and is bringing into your administration. And yet you've kept good people. I saw Doug back here, James Dietrich, Rachel, others that I work with. So that's been great for the county, and I appreciate it. With that, I just wanted to appreciate your years of service. And after that, it came down to where you guys were talking maybe about a third term, and I appreciate you recognizing the citizens' desire of term limits here. And so I look forward to seeing you guys in leadership positions elsewhere and keeping talking to you. I think Jim Candelaria has been a great addition. I think he's walking in those same good steps. I'm sure with Joel and Kent, things will go forward, but I think you guys have done a good job setting the county up, and just wanted to express my appreciation since I don't get down here that often. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Ken. Those are very kind words.
thank you, Ken, appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Thank you, appreciate it a great deal.
Any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll move forward to social services, and I see Lori's here, so come on up.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. I will, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I guess before we get started, I might as well go ahead and I'd like make a motion to approve the record of proceedings for the Montezuma County Board of Social Services for the October 27, 2020, and also approve their statement of following payments, their payables for October 2020.
Second, there's a motion and a second to approve the records of proceedings for the Montezuma County Board of Social Services for October 27, 2020, and then also the payables for October 2020. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Gina's not here, so it's gonna be short and sweet.
Tell us all the good news. Yeah, tell us the good news.
Good news?
Things,
Good news.
things are running
Go ahead.
well in social
Everything's
services?
running
Or-
just fine.
Yeah, staff being able to keep up with all, I'm sure, the many, many requests that are probably the over-the-top requests that are coming into you guys. I imagine you guys are one of the busiest departments in our county right now.
Yeah, it's busy this week.
I'm sure. There's a lot of unemployment things are running out, and there's a lot of stuff that people are gonna be looking to you guys to help them, so I'm sure you're gonna stay busy for a while. Yeah.
Is there any new information that you're getting from the state on any changes, anything that's new, anything coming from the special session that they're gonna start?
Hopefully some more funding hopefully maybe some more funding coming to you.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's, I think you're gonna need it. I think you're gonna need it.
Gina keeps up with that, so
Yeah.
none that I'm aware of at the moment. You?
Mhm.
I don't know of anything, nothing new.
Where's
I have to-
Where's Gina?
Vacation.
Vacation, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, gentlemen, how much fun these people have on Halloween. I got to go over and judge their Halloween costumes, and it was a lot of fun.
It was
Thank you
good.
for including me. It was good. It was fun.
You have to do something a bit for some levity down. I'm sure there's some levity needed in that department whenever you can get it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, good.
good. I'm glad to hear you both feel that things are running as smoothly as they possibly can, given the circumstances we're all in right now. So good on you. Good on
They're hanging in there. They're doing a good job.
you. Yeah. Well, appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
While we're waiting on Rick, I can go over some stuff that Greg Felson wanted to display from Extension, but he also is on vacation this month.
Okay.
Okay,
Um,
go ahead.
He's discussing in this slide 4-H community service project. He says in this home improvement project, you'll make one or more types of scrubs to be used as hand care product by our local nursing staff at Southwest Memorial Hospital and our local nursing homes who, due to excessive hand washing they have endured during the COVID-19 pandemic, have been experiencing dry and chapped skin. You will also be writing a thank you note to let these nurses know how appreciated they are. We hope that everyone will enjoy making these scrubs and putting these kits together for a very deserving group in our community, and that you will learn something along the way. These little kits involve a couple of different activities for members and families to do. These activities include making a scrub of your choice and writing a personal note of thanks, along with any type of your decorating that you want to personalize your kit. And then he has included a video here for us to watch, so let me see if I can get that to load. Yeah. See,
Can't hear it.
I'm working on that.
And then you're gonna need a half cup Epsom salts, and then a 1/8 of a cup of fractionated coconut oil, and then you're gonna mix that up and just mix up. And if this is too oily, then you can put more Epsom salts in it. But if it's too scratchy, then you can put more normal coconut oil, not fractionated, normal. And then you're gonna take a scented oil, like essential oil or whatever, and you're gonna put 15 drops or more until you like how much it smells of whatever scent you want, I guess, into the stuff.
Now, this is an essential what? It's got Epsom salts and oil and.
Yeah, it's a scrub for the nurse's hands.
It's
And then
not
you're
so
gonna
harsh
take
on
a
her.
jar,
They're just
like
making
mason
little
jar
care
works or
packages for the
whatever,
nurses at the nursing homes
and,
hospitals
you're just gonna put it in the jar?
as one of their community service projects.
I would have thought Epsom salt seems like a dry, yeah, more of a drying kind of deal, but that oil and stuff must do something, turns it into something, so.
You know, I've not made a lot of lotions, commissioners.
I haven't either. I haven't made any. The closest I get to them is using them. I've never made any of them, so.
Once you're done with that, you put it up and then you can tie it like a little ribbon around it or whatever you want, and like, or a bow on top or whatever. And yeah.
So, our extension office has been reaching out to the healthcare workers and showing appreciation. And, you know, I always think it's a good thing when we can teach the kids in this generation to show gratitude. I think some of that's lacking in today's day and age, so I'm glad to see them working in that direction.
That's probably a.
All right,
Okay, well,
is that
tell
all?
Greg, tell
Yeah,
Greg.
That's it from extension.
Good job.
Well,
I'll
Rick,
do that.
now that you're here, we're gonna have you come on up and we'll go over our veteran services with Rick Torres.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Rick.
Rick.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Happy
here soon,
Thanksgiving,
isn't it?
sir.
Hey, don't start throwing stuff, you know, don't start throwing things,
I'm
man.
getting clumsy. Good morning, everyone.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning.
What you have in front is our monthly report, but before we get to that, if we could show the commissioners the report that went to the state office. Shaq and I are preparing those usually the first couple of days of the month. We're putting our data, capturing it for the previous month, and go ahead and submitting it to the state office so we can get our credit for our annual or our biannual reimbursements. And what you'll see there is overall our telephone calls, appointments, any outreach events, total veterans served that month, surveys. Last month, I briefed you halfway down about the wildly important goals. There's a video I share once a month. There's these gatekeeper trainings and caring contacts. These are items that I put on Facebook and just continue to bring awareness to suicide prevention or suicide issues regarding our veterans, which is also pretty high up there with the general population. Then I go ahead and certify our report, our numbers for last month. Shaq signs it, and it's been delivered. They have it, so we're good for October.
This with Shaq sign, it just gets you a little bit more prompt and you're getting it to the state and getting that handled and getting it in there on time, right?
Pretty much, that's the key, is to make sure that we meet our criteria. If something were to pop up, it's already done.
So I'm glad that we've come to that so that you can get that report done and Shaq, our administrator, can sign off on that and you can get it in.
Thank you for allowing us to do that.
Absolutely.
And then last month when we met, the board had, as you can remember, for the past years, I've also been reporting our monthly expenditures on a separate report. So what I did was, since the one that went to the state office, the old one had the expenditures, the new one does not. So I think it was Commissioner Candelaria asked if I could include it in our monthly report to the commissioners. So I do have that on our next sheet, which is our monthly report that the commissioners are commonly used to seeing. And so we've already done the top item. We've reviewed what was submitted to our state office. Now we're on to our expenditure reports for last month. For Sarah and myself, we have one full-time employee, one part-time. There's our salaries, or payments for salaries. Fringe benefits, that's for the one employee, myself. Operating expenses, that's typically office supplies of some sort. There's a public outreach event. I believe that was a fee I paid to get into like I think it was Dolores Car Show, Harvest Fest. So Went ahead and had funds for that. And the vehicle, there's some issues I did, not issues, there's some items I took care of on the Hummer. I put in a security type system where you need a secret code to get in and start it because it doesn't have a key. So rather than putting an alarm, there's basically a code you need to be able to know how to get into it and start it.
Oh.
So I took care of that, some lights. Mainly that was all electrical. I think I briefed the commissioners. I also added a cell phone boost to it. So the sheriff needs it, he takes it out in the field. That vehicle is not equipped with radio that the deputies commonly interact with each other on, their network, their frequencies. So this is a cell phone boost. So anyone can use that. If there are no questions on last month's expenditures, I always like to go over how our office did the previous year and do a comparison to this October. And as you can see, pre-COVID, I mean, we were always well in the 200s, anywhere from 225 to close to 300, but typically in the 200 range of visitors going through that office. What you're going to see is, let me not say post-COVID, because we're still in this COVID. Last month, we had 130 veterans and their survivors physically come into our office. I had 7 new clients. That's a decrease. If I did my math right, 145 less people came in last month as compared to the previous October. With that said, as I mentioned before, doesn't mean that we're not busy. As you can see, although we're not doing a lot of house calls, we're doing none, or nursing home visits. I did 3 events for outreach, 1 community event. A lot of these are on Zoom, on the computers. The 1 community event, I believe, was the Harvest Fest. And like I said, it's not that we're not busy. We filed 24 claims. Out of those 24 claims,
That's busy.
It is.
Busy,
So
yeah.
for the workday, the number of work days in the month, in our little corner here, we filed 24 claims. We received notification that 10 claims were granted. Those 10 claims, as you know, were not part of that 24 that we filed.
those
These
were
are
already in.
old claims.
Yeah, those are already
Right.
in the system.
These
right.
are old claims, sometimes months old. I hate to say it, in very few cases, sometimes, over a year old.
Yeah.
Out of those 10 claims that were granted by the Veterans Affairs Department, 9 were favorable, 1 was a denial, and none stayed the same, confirmed and continued. And you're going to see that these 10 veterans and/or their survivors that won claims in October, combined, they each, if I put all their resources together, a little over $11,000 a month coming into these individuals. During a 12-month period, that should account for a little over $140,000 for those 10 individuals. Those 10 individuals combined, back pay, they received over $86,000 in retro back pay that was owed to them because the VA took too long or they were waiting for the decisions to be made. When you look at year-to-date, from January through the end of October, all the clients that have won claims combined monthly are bringing in little over $120,000 per month. If I did my math right, it's a little over $1.4 million. That's if they all stay in this area. It'll stay here. Everyone that's won a claim so far was slightly under $700,000 in back pay from the VA. With that said, I do have one success story I want to share. I had one veteran. Last month I shared about a success story. It was a Vietnam veteran. This one here is a younger veteran, and it was an appeal that we filed. The claim got denied back in 2017. So what we do is we appeal the case. We think we're right, and it goes eventually to a law judge. And in this case, the veteran was granted the claim, and he received a little over $65,000 in back pay. So that's why I tell our clients, when we file an initial claim, we always file it anticipating if it goes in front of a judge, really that's who we're arguing to. That's our last hope. And in this case, the VA made some mistakes. The doctor had agreed with us and the veteran and with what we were arguing. The events were related to military service, and eventually upon another exam reinforcing what the first doctor said, the claim was granted for the veteran and they owed him a little over $65,000. So we love these success stories. I have a really big one for next month, but I'm going to keep my powder dry. This one is in the 6-figure digits. So yeah, we're excited about that one. And that's one that goes really far back.
Well, that one's 5, and that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, that's nothing to sneeze at right there.
But you'll be happy next month, and this is a veteran that I didn't initially, the next month, I'm teasing it a little bit. This veteran is not a claim that I did. It was started around 2011. The veteran was denied. A lot of stuff that was filed, you really shouldn't have filed it, but the things that he did file, I did help him with perfecting the appeal onto a law judge, and it was granted. And I'll give you a little more details without revealing the veteran, but the six-figure income, I wish he could add me as a dependent. But with that said, are there any
You're getting
questions?
closer and closer to giving it away, so we give you about 2 more minutes, maybe.
Right
you'll
on.
do-
No, it's
yeah.
not. It's not a relative.
Yeah. Well, good, Rick. Those are great. Those are great stories and great outcomes for these veterans that obviously have some things coming their way, and you're seeing that they're getting them. And I'll tell you what, we can't ask for better than that.
Thank you so
They're
much.
taking care of our veterans community and getting them the VA monies that they
They're
deserve.
entitled to it.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
ent to
So
it. They
you
gave
bet.
up their time, and as I like
Yep.
to say, when usually they were in the prime of their life, when they were a lot younger, tall, dark, and handsome, like I used to be.
Yeah, and some of these things affect them the rest of their life. So
Yes.
they're life-changing
Yes.
things, so.
And this
No.
doesn't fix everything,
No,
but
no,
it does
but-
give them a little bit
but
of
it-
breathing room,
Yeah.
especially if they've lost jobs or unable to work in an environment, whether it's a physical or a mental injury, or
Yeah.
a mental, whether it's an illness, physical or psychological injury. At least this provides that family members of that veteran a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we're proud of doing that.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if there are
Good
no further
job.
questions, all the
Good
best
job.
for everyone.
Have a
Happy
good Thanksgiving.
All right.
Yes, you too, Rick. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. I see her coming in back
Jennifer.
there. Jennifer.
You guys went way too fast.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys today?
Great. How are you doing?
We're good. How are you?
Good. Couple things. We are a little slower this month with the COVID thing. I think everybody's getting a little scared again. and CCI closed down again. So they're a big part of our clientele. And but when the schools close or do something like that, then CCI does. So I'm expecting it to be a little slower this
Now,
month.
what is CCI? Yeah.
Community Connections.
Community connection, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we have a lot of people we take to work for them.
Gotcha.
Take to Pine Street, where the Community Connections is, and so they can
Yeah.
get their socialization, stuff like that. So we're not doing that this month, so.
Gotcha.
I talked to CDOT finally about the bus that we're gonna let the hospital use. So what they said was it's up to us how we wanna do it. We can loan it to them, and basically what they would have to do though is they would have to take the CDOT drug test to get into our drug pool. So like any other employee, they can be,
They have their
consider-
own drug pool though, right? It's
Yeah.
not, there's no reciprocity there?
no, that's what I
Good old
specifically asked.
Because,
I know.
okay,
I know, and I specifically, they said they basically have to go through what my drivers go through. Even if they're not permanently on our payroll, they can be considered
Volunteer.
thank you, volunteer, so they'd still have to go through all the stuff that we go through. Yeah. So the other thing, and I talked to Shaq, and I know I don't know if he was gonna talk to you guys about it, we can donate the bus to them at this point, because the bus is not under CDOT anymore. However, it's a big bus. I don't know if I want to get rid of it yet. But we can't take, we can't take a whole lot of people now anyway. But I think that, it just depends on what you guys want to do as far as doing the CDOT testing, because that would be, I'm not sure who would pay for that. Maybe the COVID money? I don't know.
Since it's being used to transport COVID patients, we could definitely use the CARES Act money for it. However, that money has to be spent by December 30th. So if this rolls into January, February, I would say if they want the use of it, then it's probably the onus is upon them to pay for their own drug tests.
Yeah.
Right.
but it's also in anticipation so that we can say that we're spending it in January, but, or going forward, it's part of a planning tool, correct?
And I could also reach out to the drug testing facility and ask if we could prepay for like 6 tests or something.
Correct. I think that would be the better way to approach it. I can't imagine that it's any different than any other drug testing.
It's different than the counties. It's different. It's a CDOT drug test.
Correct,
So it's a little
but-
more money, but it's not any, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just a CDOT drug test versus like what we do for the county. We have to do CDOT. We can't do the county one. We have to do the extended CDOT one for driving. So, and then they'd have to be under our balloon of insurance, at that point too. So,
So these are hospital employees that would have to come under our umbrella, our liability and all that insurance?
right.
And I've discussed that with Bentley. It's not going to add anything to it. He just
Okay.
needs their driver's license information, and Billy's already collected that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd just basically be like they're volunteering for us.
How much does that CDOT test run?
I
Do
don't-
you know what the cost involved?
It's, let's see, the last one I had done was 65?
I was going to say 75 max.
65, yeah, I think it was
I mean,
65.
We have to comply with all of the CDOT regulations or the
Right.
FMCSA,
Yeah,
and it's not really that.
that big a deal?
No, it's not
Not
expensive.
really, but
No?
the money has to be allocated. So if you could
Yeah.
say 75 times 6 or $650, just put a little bit extra in there, I think we would be covered.
Okay, yeah,
Because
Yeah, I don't
think
want us donating the bus to the hospital. I think we need to keep that as our,
Okay.
that's something you need to have and we need to
Right.
keep. But certainly make it available for them to use and they get their drivers tested and get everything done.
right, and that way they can, they can use it when they need to use it, instead of having to clean their, the ambulances every time they use
Right.
it and then not being able to have it
Right, now-
available.
Now they've got a
Now they've got
designated
it-
vehicle
right.
that can, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
It makes good sense and
Yeah.
alleviates some of the stress for them too.
Yep. And we don't use it very often. Like I said, it's usually used for
Well, right now,
trips and
you're
stuff.
not using it probably at all or don't have to use it probably at all.
So
it makes
it's
for-
way better to help the hospital and use it for something that's
Absolutely.
non-emergent
Right.
Yeah.
than letting it sit. So
Right.
Yeah.
definitely, we can move forward in that regards
Yeah.
of having
Okay.
some money so that we can pay for those drug tests.
Or
No
the
problem.
hospital, because it's their employees, is it not? Will it be their employees that'll be driving the
Yeah.
bus and stuff?
Yeah.
Why doesn't the hospital pay for their drug tests?
I think regardless, it's going to come out of CARES Act money.
Okay, yeah.
Ours
Yeah,
are
so
first.
That's
We-
probably
we-
true,
we've
Shaq.
got I think if we keep it in-house, then we know what we have and we know what we
Yeah,
can
and if
do.
it's CARES Act money, then so be it, not taxpayer dollar, not our county dollar, so,
Right, okay.
okay?
Okay, so then we'll move forward with that one. And then I would like to ask you guys, I know we're getting that van in probably the end of next year that has the wrap on it. I'd like to put that on the buses I have now. I do have some money in the bus fund that we could use for it. I'm not sure how much the actual buses will run, but I know the van was about $800. So it's probably gonna be a little more for the buses, probably 1,000, maybe 1,200.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I've got 4 buses.
Tell them that
and-
you want a volume deal on these things.
Right, well, yeah, if I do more than one.
We're gonna bring five or six vehicles in for them to do it with the same logo, same
Right.
information, and start negotiating with them a little bit on that.
Yeah, I haven't even talked to him about it yet, because I figured I'd ask you guys first if that would be something.
I think it's money well spent, and I think it needs to be, and I think our people need to know that's our, a lot of people don't know that Moco
They
is
still
out there
don't.
driving. We got that little blue emblem on the side, and it's
Yeah,
not
it's
very
nothing.
noticeable, so I
It's the
think.
best kept
recognizable
secret
at
in
all.
the county.
It is, it really
Yeah,
is, we are.
Thank you, Shaq, well put, yeah, well put.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
okay, so
I
I'll go
think-
forward with that then and see if I can get some quotes on that, and see what they say. But I'd really like to get those on and all of my buses at this point, all my vehicles except for one, and the one we're talking about for the hospital are very new. I mean, they're
they're great, they're-
1, 2, and 3 years
Yeah,
old.
no,
So
you've
we've got a
great
good.
fleet. You've got a great fleet.
Yeah,
You've
we've
got a
got a
great
good,
fleet,
yep.
yeah.
And they'll be here a while, so I
Yeah.
figure it's not, it's money gets well spent, like you said. And then I talked to Durango Transit, about the fixed route that we're trying to get put in. I haven't heard back from the grant yet. They're still, it could be into January, February, they said. So, but I talked to them, and they actually sent me some reports that they had done, some feasibility studies they had done to maybe come all the way here. So I was talking to her about meeting halfway. and dropping people off for them, and they can drop people off for us, and they can use our system, they can, you know. So she's real interested in that, so I'm probably gonna go forward with that when we get the funding, anyway. But as far as that goes, I think that's pretty much all I've got today, so.
Yeah, I know you've hit this COVID stuff has made your business way slow, but,
Yeah.
it just.
But you know, CDOT and AAA are compensating us for that.
Yeah.
So we're able to still pay our drivers, and we're still able to pay, we are down to 3 drivers, which right now is not a big deal.
Yeah, which is probably appropriate for
Right.
now, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so, you know, I want to hire at least 1 or 2 more, because, you know, eventually we'll get busy again, so. But other than that, we're doing as good as we can.
Good.
So, any questions?
I sure don't. I think the wrap deals, I think that's really,
Yeah.
that's smart money spent, so.
Yeah, I think so.
Let people know who's doing the transporting out there.
Jennifer, just to be clear, would you be able to get those wraps finished this year, or would we be invoiced for them next year?
I'm going to say it'd be next year, I think, because we'd have to probably bring them to Denver one at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only drawback, is we'd probably have to bring them to Denver, or Colorado Springs, I think.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure if they did them all at once, maybe they'd come here, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if we can get them all done at one time, it
Yeah.
might be more beneficial. We have a shop that they can work in, so
Right, well, that's true. Okay,
it
I'll
might be-
mention that.
more
Definitely.
beneficial to move them to us instead of us moving 4 vehicles to them.
Right, yeah. I will definitely talk to the man in charge of that, so. Okay, Right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
I have
you.
nothing else.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer.
good Thanksgiving.
Wow, we're moving right along here. So, County Attorney's Report, John Baxter.
Our CO2 committee case that you heard from Mr. Cogswell from a couple weeks ago. So as you know, they appealed our district court Judge Plu's order that dismissed the case against us.
Right.
And they have asked for oral arguments. So when you appeal and you ask the Colorado Court of Appeals for oral arguments, you get them. It's usually 15 minutes per side. It's scheduled in January, I think January 24th, for them to make their spiel, make their argument to the Colorado Court of Appeals. You know, hopefully, presumably, they don't win there. Then they would have the choice to ask for cert to the Colorado Supreme Court. I don't think the Colorado Supreme Court would hear this case.
I don't think they'll even listen to it, yeah.
If they do win, then it would come back to district court here. My thought and hope, but my strong thought and belief is that it would end up getting dismissed again down here, even if they wanted the Court of Appeals.
Yeah.
But you know, we'll see. Obviously, I don't know or can't dictate those things. I think that's really all I have to report. You heard just a minute ago about the Carver landfill. We're just tidying up for the future what those deeds will look like. Basically, something gets filed with the clerk and recorder. So when somebody does a property search, they see that, oh, there was a landfill here some time ago. 50 years from now, if somebody else buys that property. So that's all that was about. That's it.
Okay. I just got a message that James Dietrich, our natural resource and public lands director, has no report. So that takes us into our commissioner's report. Commissioner Tell.
You know, I have been in Grand Junction all this last week with a family situation, and I have not, any of the Zoom meetings that I had were canceled. My AAA and all those have not met, so I do not have a thing to report on, so it's been pretty
Okay.
quiet.
Commissioner Sukla, do you have anything?
I attended a public lands meeting with NACO last week, and most of the conversation had to do with transitions with who it might be the Department of Interior, the new Secretary of Interior, and how public lands might be viewed differently in the future. And that's the end of my report.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll try to make mine short and sweet. Actually, last Wednesday, obviously, was on a Zoom meeting with the multi-agency coordination group, the MAC group, discussing all of the issues of all the public safety and everything that we have going on, getting our sit report ready with our EOC. That took place Wednesday. Thursday, I was actually able to view the MBT meeting, and they were talking, the big topic that they were talking about was broadband and some of the USDA grants, and we just heard that we have a USDA grant of to the tune of about $6.3 million, covers somewhat of Dolores County on the northern or the southern end of Dolores County and coming down into Lewis, which is in our county, which is kind of one of the few areas that it will cover. Kind of a long process. It was kind of a long meeting there, which is going to step right into something else. Jim McLean had sent out an RFP that we talked about a couple of weeks ago for a grant writer, and specifically the needs for a grant writer to help us get some of this funding so that we can start serving these areas in our outer community where they don't have availability or access to this. And with our schools going virtual and not knowing how long that's going to be, I think if you guys are okay, if you've seen the RFP, and I think John, I had responded to you about legally, is it okay that we go ahead and?
I saw an email from Jim McLean this morning, and I opened it, and I haven't read it yet.
Okay.
So let me review it.
That's fine.
Okay.
As soon as we have our legal counsel saying it's okay, go ahead and get it posted so that we can maybe start moving ahead with some of that as far as funding for that. Secondly, he had also presented to, and I don't know if we had, well, I know we didn't because I'd asked Jack this morning if we'd put back capital monies for the area of getting the fiber down to, hopefully, we'll call it the Loves and not the old M&M.
Yeah, we want to get rid of that name.
We'll get rid of that name and we'll call it Loves,
Yeah.
which is hopefully where we're going to head with this, because they are a big enough organization, strong enough that maybe we can create a partnership to allocate funding, put it in our capital, because we didn't do that, to go ahead to hopefully get that process going down there. And
Yeah, and I talked earlier with Commissioner Candelaria. I think this is an avenue for the city to get fiber optics to the airport. It's an avenue for them to help, and I think without question we go for grants. We look out there for whatever broadband money we can find. But I think we also go to some of these people that will be willing to partner with us on this expenditure, and that being Loves and the city of Cortez getting broadband down County Road G to their airport. Well, getting not broadband, but fiber optics down there.
Correct.
So
first we have to get it from here to Loves, and then it'll go further. So, Commissioner Sukla, do you remember that conversation when we were talking about that when we had the presentation from our IT director?
Yes, Commissioner Candelaria, I do.
Okay. So he had sent an email earlier also. So I think if we could allocate, he's got two different estimates here. One was for a 288 count fiber and a 144 count fiber. There's not a lot of difference between the two, but if we can say we put $280,000 in there for that allocation, just as a backup, not to say that we're going to use it in our capital, because this technology, with what's happening right now, it just gives us another avenue as far as technology that we can be able to use down the road.
Yeah, I would put $300,000 in a capital expenditure line item for 2021 in the event that this, seeing how, depending on how Loves go and how that development down there at the M&M goes, but that's going to be a very key piece for them, I'm certain, to have that kind of speed and fiber optic for their business down there. I mean,
correct, and not only with that, it also gives the avenue to pick up all of the other businesses within the direct path of the highway.
And an avenue for the city to bore under 491 and go right down County Road G and take it right to their airport. I would think they would be wanting to get that down there we're helping make that feasible for them.
Which is not very far away. 3
No,
or
about
4
a mile,
miles.
about a mile, so.
So if that's okay, do we need an actual formal?
Should that be in the form of a motion?
I mean, it'll be there when you adopt the
So
budget.
when we adopt
There
it,
you go.
so if we
We
just,
adopt
the
we adopt the
conversation.
budget, right, yeah, so.
Commissioner Sukla, do you have anything else to add to that?
I'm in agreement with my fellow commissioners on this.
Okay. Let's see. Trying to look at my phone here. Bear with me. And then lastly, I guess the biggest meeting that I was on last night, we had a call with Xander Martin and about 35 other people on a local government call, basically discussing the last couple of executive orders that the governor has put out. And one of the biggest things that, really strikes me odd is that he continues to ask for partnerships and buy-in, yet we're not getting any input. It's like, here's an executive order and we want you guys to buy in without any knowledge of what's happening or what he's even saying. So basically last night we said, well, how do you want a partnership and buy-in when you're just dictating all of this to us and you don't even know what's going on? We are not the Front Range. We are not Jefferson County. We are not Adams County. Yep. We're totally different down here. So Xander, who is part of his staff, will take that back to him. Testing and support funding from the state, that was another pretty big issue. And then they talked a little bit about the vaccines and the timelines and when they're going to start to roll that out. So we only get 45 minutes on that call, and they pretty much keep it right to 45 minutes. And it's somewhat hard when you have 30-plus mayors,
That's
commissioners.
Barely a minute per person to ask or participate, yeah.
It's pretty tough, but anyway, we did get some questions back to Xander Martin to take to the governor. So with that, that's all that I have. Oh, wait a minute, one more thing. Wednesday, we did do our first short video, myself, Shaq, and Tony Suddeth, the CEO of the hospital, did a short, I don't know, probably 10-minute presentation, and we're going to try and do those again on Wednesdays. Just talking points and keeping the people informed of what's going on in our county and how we're dealing with
Mostly around COVID.
mostly around COVID, but there are other positive things too.
Sure. Keep some positive in there.
Keep some positive. Just like Connie reported last week, one of the greatest positives is we're done with Phil's World. I mean, just
Right.
as Ken stated
Right.
to you guys this morning, that was a great effort of working together with the BLM, a federal agency, and getting something.
And with SHPO. I mean,
accomplished.
we've dealt with all kinds of adversity in that dadgum deal, and everybody stayed true to the task, and the BLM cooperated, and they just kept overcoming and got it done. And I'll tell you, and I'll tell you another thing. I see the letter from Connie Clemenson from the BLM stating that they, starting next year, they've got everything done and approved to do their parking lot up at the north end of their BLM property on Summit Ridge up there.
Yep.
And it never ceases to amaze me. I'm always amazed that if it's a project that the BLM wants and it's something that they want to see done, they get the EA, they get it done. I mean, snap to Johnny, it's done. And there have been other things that seem to just be so dadgum difficult to do that aren't really on their priority list, that drag on, like the EA out in the Flowdine, and that took years. They've been doing years and years out there on that deal, and it's something they didn't want, and it just had never come to pass. So,
Well, we did get some. We have some accomplishments, and I appreciate
oh yes, we
that.
do. Don't
And
get me wrong, but it just never ceases to amaze me when it's a project that the BLM or even the Forest Service want, that they need to want to have done. Man, I'll tell you, it gets done. It gets done. It gets done in short order. It's amazing.
And with that, that concludes my report. also.
I would like to take a moment to remind everybody that there will be no commissioner meeting next week, as
Next week.
the commissioners will be involved in the Colorado Counties Incorporated meetings.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Shaq.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have public comment. Again, is there? All right.
Gosh, Ken, I'd love for you to come up and restate what you said earlier. It really felt good.
Well, seeing,
I appreciate,
good work.
Ken, we appreciate you. We appreciate you being in the position you're in now at DWCD.
Dexter Gill, 222 Road 2022, Lewis. I just want to go back to what Ken has said. This has really been as you know, I've been here quite a few of your meetings over the years, and this has been really an outstanding county commission the last several years, many years really. And one of the things that kind of follow up on what Mr. Curtis said, but one of the most important things that the commission can do is get individuals, the heads of departments and the employees, as being really top-notch people that knows their job and knows what they're there to serve the county as a whole, not their own little agendas. So getting good people in those positions, you've done it. And you've been able to keep good people in those positions. And that really is one of the more important things. It takes the burden off of you. And the other thing is, according what I've observed over the years, has been this past commission has been one of active, taking proactive steps, not just being reactive to what some public comes in, well, I fix my road or whatever. You take an initiative to step out and be proactive, seeing what needs to be done, and be a active commission rather than just reacting to the squeaky wheels type thing. And so I've been really impressed. And you've set a stage now for the new guys that's coming in that they have to pick up, because the county commissions statewide really are going to be, in my opinion, the more important role in governing both the counties and at the state levels. The counties are going to be stepping up and being the leadership roles, instead of being, as was just talked about, being dictated to. The governing authority belongs in the counties, and you've set a really good precedent for that to happen. So hope the new guys can step right in and keep bringing it forward and not have to have a big learning curve to start over again. So thank you guys for really doing a good job.
Thank you, Dex.
Thank you. And I have one other thing now. It's a follow-up, and it's something to what Dexter just brought up. Good people. I think, Shaq, you had presented to us 2 weeks ago about also allocating $35,000 because we were looking at a 20%. We're losing 20% of our people basically annually, and this was an incentive to try and keep them more like a longevity.
Correct, in the
They're on a tier.
retirement. And
So-
you asked me to bring that up again in December, which I plan to do.
Okay. All right. All right, I guess with that, if we have nothing else, I would entertain a motion.
No more public comment, no more public participation. I move we adjourn.
Second. Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, Ken,